Craig Lambert, what exactly is shadow work and why am I not getting paid to do it?
Well, shadow work, as I define it in my book, is all of these unpaid jobs that we are all doing on behalf of organizations, businesses, hospitals, hotels. And they include things like pumping our own gas, bagging and scanning our own groceries, becoming our own travel agents. Many things are in the self-serve economy. And from a business point of view, it makes perfect sense for an owner to have the customers do the work for nothing instead of paying a salary to a staff person to do it.
Well, let's start at the very beginning. Should I get paid for my commute to and from work?
Well, I don't think you should necessarily be paid for it, but you should recognize that commuting is a huge time and money hog. According to my numbers, it looks like the average commuter will spend $4,400 a year, the equivalent of that, to get to work and back, and use about 5 full-time work weeks of time during the commuting. And you might want to go to your boss and say, well, can I use that time better than driving?
And where do you think employees are getting ripped off the most? Which part of their workday?
Well, I mean, commuting is a big candidate for that. That's for sure. There's also a lot of work on the job because of downsizing and the giving of jobs to people without any increase in salary because people have left the organization and no one's hired to replace them.
What about interns? Because we're coming up to summer intern season. They were complaining recently in a lot of places that they weren't getting paid and doing the work of employees. And on the other hand, you have employees complaining that the interns are pushing down their wages. So when it comes to shadow work, how do you view the whole intern situation?
Well, you could look at interns as a competitor to salaried employees. Quite often they get nothing. In businesses, they tend to get paid more often than in nonprofit situations. But it's true that interns are working for very little and often taking over jobs that other people might have gotten fringe benefits and salary to do. And quite often they don't get the kind of supervision and mentoring that they were hoping for at the end of the day.
What about my own personal work that I do on the company time? How do you factor that into your equation? Because, you know, as much as they're not paying me for things I do for them, every now and then I do my own work on their time.
Well, I don't think anybody works 100% of the time. It could be that's the employee's revenge for shadow work, that they get some of their own stuff in on the company time. But I think there's also quite a bit of research that shows that maybe it's good to take breaks because if you are just bullet-headed focused on work and nothing but work, you're less productive, and really you need some breaks to establish a good rhythm of working.
And how is this shadow work affecting hiring and firing at organizations?
Well, that's an interesting question. It's only the beginning. Right now, my book is the first one to really advance this concept. So there are no metrics. There hasn't been economic research about how it affects unemployment. And perhaps in the future there will be, but clearly jobs where there is essentially a very low skill level are ones that the customer can learn to do, like pumping gas, in about a minute or two. And those jobs will be very vulnerable.
All right, well, thanks a lot for coming in, talking about it.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you for watching The Street.